Hi, this is Tranisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about keep pushing. So, I'm going to be honest and transparent right now. Before I started this video, my hair, I had my hair in a ball because of the swimming class that I've been taking. And for women who have hair, the same kind of hair that I have, you understand when we get in that chlorine, it really dries our hair out. And I mean, I tried the conditioner method, which helped a little bit. I will say it was better than no conditioner. And like, you don't even understand, man. It's just like, what is happening? Like, weirdly, you can't tell on this video, but I have like a blemish, like two blemishes right here on the side of my cheek. And I'm just like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Like, it's not a pimple or anything like that. It's just like two blemishes or whatever. And it's right here like this. And I'm like, I don't even know what it came from for real. It could be anything. But, but I had my hair in this ball. And when my hair was in the ball, it was like frizzy because all of the moisture and stuff that I usually put on it, usually I, I know this is like so not about the message right now, but usually I would put like water on my hair and conditioner. Like I would use the lock method. I would use like liquid, which is water, and then some sort of cream and then oil on top. Like I would use vitamin E oil, olive oil, something like that. I can't use coconut oil because it really dries my hair out. I can use it on everywhere on my skin, but I cannot use it on my hair. And so I, so I this morning I just did some water and some cream. I did not put oil on it, which is probably the first mistake. And it was like, it was starting to frizz up. And so I had it in a ball, like it was all brushed up in a ball. And then I braided it and then I pinned it. So it would be like a ball like that. And I was like, okay, this is good. And man, it got frizzy. I just wasn't feeling it. For women that watch this video, you know how it is when you have that day where nothing is wrong with you, but you just not feeling it. And it's just like, what is going on right now? And like, I picked out this shirt to go with this, which is cute, but it took some time to get used to it because usually I'll do like a plain shirt or something. I don't really use a lot of patterns. And if I do, it's usually with jeans or something like that. So it took some time, and then like this is 3/4 sleeves instead of regular, so I rolled up the sleeves so that way it'd be its own style. And then I did silver instead of gold because usually I'm always doing gold. So I switched it up. But this is the part that gets me. So I put my hair in this ball and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm gonna do something different for this video because I definitely do not want my hair to be this frizzy. And then I'm about to work out, and after I work out, I might sweat a little bit, and so I'm gonna go take a shower, of course, before I go to bed. And I go to take my hair down, and it looks like this, like the perfect braid out, twist out, whatever you want to call it, because it was braided, and then I just put it in a ball, and then I just took the braid down. I literally just took the braid down, and it looked like this. I was like, you mean to tell me in 2 minutes, like less than 2 minutes, I could have just literally unbraided my hair and wore my hair like this today? But that's neither here nor there. Anyways, let's get into the video. So I've honestly, I've honestly been good. And when I say good like that, people are like, okay. But I have really been super blessed. It's like God really just makes me feel content in this moment. But I feel like, I don't want to say lost. I just feel like I want to say this weird in between, but I've been like that for a while now. And I'll get these moments, like these little bursts of energy or these little bursts of, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to do, and things like that. And I don't want to lie to you guys and pretend like every day is rainbows and butterflies and every day is like I'm just always in the best of moods. Yes, I always smile every day. Yes, I always have joy. But even when I'm sad, I have joy because I have God in my life. It's not because of me. And so, like, I know I was telling you on the other video that like a lot of things have been taken away from me, and it just seems like in that moment I should really be like upset. I should be sad. I should feel lost, whatever else. But I don't feel lost. I just feel like I'm in this weird in between stage in my life. Like I'm in that part of my life where if it's not purposeful, I don't want to do it. And I know that sounds so weird and strange for some people to hear me say that, but I really want to be intentional every day of my life. Ever since I've known my purpose, like, I always have energy for my purpose. I always have energy to speak life into the people and to be serving somewhere. Like, even if I only had a couple hours of sleep or something, which don't do that. Definitely give your body the rest that it needs, because you need to look exuberant and you need to look fresh faced. You need to look like, you've been getting your beauty rest in and taking care of your body. You don't be walking out there looking crazy. Like, and I mean crazy lightly. I mean like silly or unkept or, disheveled. And so I don't know why I did this when I said disheveled, but anyways. So in this video, earlier today, I really had it in my head, like, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is how I felt. I felt so much encouragement, so much energy, and I just knew the video was going to be about blah. And I really just, I lost it. I had it in my head. I knew what I was going to do a video about. I felt this surge of energy and motivation, like, I just can't stop. I have to keep going. I think it wasn't going to be called keep going. It was going to be called something about pushing forward, but I cannot remember what the name of it was going to be. And I felt it in my soul as I listened to the sermon earlier today, and the sermon was about money, but it was mostly about us being a better version of ourselves and putting all of our efforts into being better and in our gifts and our purpose, instead of just being good at one thing, being good at many things. And it's so funny because I don't know if I was gonna call it like a few things, or I can't remember what it was, but it was like really clever. And I was just like, oh, okay, it'll be that. And it'll just be about, continuing to push forward, to keep going. But I really forgot what it was about. I had a lot going on, a lot on my mind, and it went right over me. And before I did this video, I really didn't want to come on here and just talk just to talk. I wanted to do something that was speaking life into people. And honestly, with the hair thing, it just kind of had me in like my feelings a little bit, kind of like, okay, I know I can do these things. And then I could feel myself just like, oh, I got to get it. Like, I don't know what's happening, but I got the 3 blemishes. Then my hair was like frizzy, and then my nails like started chipping because I took the acrylic off so that my nails can like get a little healthier. I can just kind of take care of the nails that I have. I don't think I'm not saying this to be judgmental, or I'm not saying this to sound like I'm like, you know, high maintenance or anything like that, but I really truly feel like I'm not the type of woman who can maintain regular nails at all. And I know you think like this is over the top, like really, there's like, what? That makes no sense. You should be able to paint your nails. Listen, I got this gel nail kit from Amazon. It works really well. The gel nails come out looking like I just stepped out of a salon. They look so good when I do them. They peel on the side a little bit because, that's just what gel nails do when you're not, drilling all your nails all the way down to where they're super thin. And so literally with this kit, I can paint my nails and do gel nails every single day. Every day I have to fix 1 to 5 of my nails, or 1 to 6 of my nails, because it's usually 3 and 3 or something like that. Every single day. You know how much time I've taken doing that? Like, if I went to, and this is not to get on like people who do paint their own nails or do clear nails or whatever else. And I think it's great if you can do that. I think it's just because I have my hands in so many things, it's really hard for me to maintain nail polish all the time. And so, so I literally have painted these nails. You probably can't tell on this video, but they're chipped at the top on every single one of them. It's no reason to hide it. And so, it's crazy. I literally painted my nails Friday. with the regular nail polish because the gel polish just kept chipping. And I think I painted it Thursday or Friday, and it lasted like a day or two. So it lasted one more day than the gel nail polish. Sunday, I was getting ready to go to church. No, Saturday I painted my nails before I left to go to my class. And because I was in the water, my nails chipped. And then on Sunday, got up Sunday morning, my nails were chipped. Today, my nails are chipped again, but I didn't get a chance to paint them. And it's just like, if I really had, like, I feel like time is way too precious to be wasting it on something like that. Like, I know that probably sounds so silly, but you have to really decide where you want to spend your time in life. You can't just waste it on frivolous things. If you are spending all of your time doing something that's counterproductive, something that is just not pouring into you, something that is really draining your energy or is draining your focus, then you probably have to redirect your focus to something that is actually feeding you, something that is actually pouring into your soul, pouring into you. And so I know I did all of that to prove this point. But listen, if you know that you can spend less time doing something, I'm the type of person, and I don't know if this is everyone, but I truly feel like if you can get your time back by doing something else, then if if your finances allow you, if your budget allows you, do that thing. Like, I was trying to do this because I wanted to prove to myself I could be a good steward of my finances and I could spend less money because, nail polish only costs like maybe $2 or something like that. Then I get the little file kit or whatever, and it's not really that much, so I can just paint my nails and go. But I would trade that time back to do something else that I really wanted to do besides painting my nails. Like, I used to love painting my nails before I got my nails done. And really wasn't that big of a deal. It was just like, okay, I paint my nails, it's fine. And now, like, I don't mind painting my nails, but like, let's say I got something planned and I'm doing like business stuff. I get into business, I'm updating things and I have these ideas. I'm writing stuff, coming up with like new marketing tools or something else. And I'm doing all of these things. And then I gotta be somewhere in like 30 minutes and I'm 10 minutes away from the place. Instead of me like being able to fix like a quick snack before I leave, or instead of me being able to like prepare the things that I need to get before I leave so I can bring the right stuff with me, I have to spend that time painting my nails and waiting for my nails to dry. I know it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but you have to determine what's more important. Is your time more important, or is you saving money more important? Because time is money. If I'm sitting here every single day wasting 15 to 30 minutes painting and letting my nails dry, allowing my nails the time to dry, is that really productive or is it counterproductive? That's what I really have to decide, because I want to make sure that I'm utilizing the time that I've been given, because we are only appointed a certain amount of time in our lives. And I don't want to waste it doing something that's really taking more than it's giving me. And so if I could find a better way, a better solution, if I could find some way to do something that allows me to have more time for my life, more time for my family, more time for my friends, more time for business, more time for the things that actually truly matter in my life, then that's what I want to do. And some people will say, well, getting your nails done is no big deal. It's not, but I do work in a business professional environment and I'm shaking hands with people. And a lot of the times when people are like shaking your hand, the first thing they look at is your hand, and my nails are chipped, and it does not look professional. And so if I want to have a meeting with someone, if I'm like on these videos, like, you really can't tell because it just looks like my nails are that short, but really it's just because it's chipped on the top on all of the nails. But if I'm in a business environment, if I'm making deals or whatever else, I don't want my nails to look like this. And it doesn't feel good. Like, on the inside, truly, I don't feel my best because my nails are not this is not the best that I can do with my nails. And when you kind of give yourself the bare minimum, I don't want to say it makes other people give you the bare minimum, but when you're treating yourself the best and truly loving yourself, it really shows other people how to treat you. It shows other people how you should be treated. It shows other people that you care about yourself. And not only that, but then it allows you to feel like you love yourself and you care about yourself. And so when people start to treat you a certain way, there's certain things that you won't tolerate because you're putting that effort into yourself, because you are actually utilizing self-care, because you are managing your time wisely. And if you're managing your time wisely when it comes to people in your life who want to waste your time, you don't have the time for it because you don't waste your own time. So why would you allow somebody else to do it, you know? And so for me, that's like the thing that I learned today. I was like, I'm gonna go 3 months just doing my own nails. Listen, if I have to keep on wasting this much time doing my nails, I'm probably, I don't know if 3 months is gonna be the time that I'm gonna be able to allot myself for this. Like, and I know it sounds like probably just high maintenance or whatever else you want to believe, but my time is more important than me painting my nails, especially if I have money in the budget to do it. I'm not just saying just spend money you don't have. Like in that case, of course, paint your nails every day. Or maybe do clear coats if you don't want to have to paint your nails every day. And maybe you paint your nails Friday, and when you go out on the weekend, then your nails are done for the 2 days that you need it done. And then you can just take it off and put clear on. And clear polish for some reason does not chip as much as painted polish, but that's neither here nor there. And so as I was going through like this phase with the hair, the skin, the nails, everything, I just was kind of feeling like, I was really feeling like, girl, you got to get it together. If I'm just being honest, I really was feeling like, girl, you got to get it together because, you really want to put your best foot forward. You really want to feel your best. And I don't want to encounter someone, I don't want to meet someone and then be not at my best. And it's not that I have to prove anything to that person. It's just that for myself, for me to be confident in myself, I want to be taking care of myself in the right way. When it comes to eating, like I ate 2 bad things or 3 bad things over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Today I didn't eat anything bad. I ate all the right things that I was supposed to eat. But when I say ate bad, I mean I had like one roll on Saturday and something that was fried when I really can't eat fried food. And then on Sunday I had um 2 Twizzlers or something like that. And it just, I don't know, something about eating that type of food just really doesn't give me the energy that I need. And I really care about my body and I don't want to just be putting anything in it. And so that's another thing that I think swayed my mood, because when I have more energy, when I'm working out, it releases endorphins, and endorphins make you happy. Like it allows your body to feel rejuvenated. It allows you to feel like you have more energy. And then in turn, because you're not holding on to whatever other emotion it is, because you're more happy, it's allowing you to live a more productive life. And so as I was going through the things that I've been going through while I'm on this fast, and the fast has been going good. So the things that I can't eat, I have not been eating on those days. And Sunday is the only day that I've been eating it. And this Friday, I will start my 21-day fast for the last 21 days of Lent. And so it's going to be hard. I don't know. I probably should have put the hardest one first and then the other one second. But it was easier than I thought it was going to be, because I really only have 4 days and then I'm done with the first half of what I was doing. So it's one of those things. And it's so funny because usually in a fast, people always talk about all the things that they've been receiving. And they're always talking about these, like, I don't want to just say it's like money based or whatever, but usually it's like, I received a job, I received a new house, I received a car, I received my husband when I was fasting. And I'm not fasting for any of those things. I'm just fasting for Lent because I want to grow my relationship with God. And because, well, so my last one was to grow my relationship with God. And this time is to show God that He can trust me and to be more trustworthy of the things that God wants to bless me with. I also want to be in a headspace where God is enough. And I know I just learned that like last week, but I really do want to feel like that. I felt like that last year, and I felt like that, like God is number one in my life. Obviously, I mean, of course, I did have like some moments where I really was feeling like, like God, if you really care about me, then maybe, this could happen. And God's like, no, that's not for you. And I was just like so upset. But that's just me being honest, because I know we like to pretend like we just say, oh, okay, it's easy, easy peasy. It's really no big deal. But sometimes it does suck when you can't get the things that you want. And a lot of Christians don't like to talk about that. They just like to talk about all the blessings they receive. They like to talk about all the things that they get from God. But God is not like, a genie in a bottle. He's God. And so God wants to give you the things that you need, not the things that you want. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we forget that we have to die a little to ourselves when it comes to God, because we have to be selfless. We have to be willing to serve, to be intentional. We have to seek his face. We have to allow God to move in our life at the time that he wants to move in our life. He is not on our time. He's not like, you don't get to say, God, in a week, I want this to happen because I need this right now. I want this right now. God's like, you don't need that right now. You're not ready for it. So you're going to have to wait until you're ready. And I'm just waiting on you, you know? And so we will sit there and we'll really just be in our own way, just stall in the process. And so it's really important for us to stay focused on God, for us to allow him to do things in his time, because when he does things, it's right on time. When we do things prematurely. We do them for selfish reasons. We do them because it looks good, sounds good, smells good, so we think it's good, but really it's just fool's gold, you know? And so if you want the real thing, you got to focus on God, because he's not going to give you a phony, a fake, somebody that's just, showing you their representative, or a job that's just pretending to be great. He's going to give you things that are actually good for you, things that will actually benefit you. His main goal is not to harm you, it's to prosper you. It's to make sure that you have everything that you need in life. And in order for him to do that, you're going to have to be obedient. You're going to have to discipline yourself. And that's what this Lent is for me. It's for me disciplining myself to make sure that I can be a better person, so that I can become a better person. And I really truly want God to be enough in my life. Sometimes we lie to ourselves and we're like, oh yeah, God is number one. And then you don't get that job, you don't get that car, you don't get that thing, you don't get that person, or you have to let all of these things go that you thought you get to keep. And all of a sudden you're like, I didn't know, religion was going to, me being religious or me being a Christian was going to be like this. Listen, this life is all about disciplining yourself and getting rid of things that could potentially take the place of God. Because if you can prove to God that you're willing to give up something for him, then it shows him that you put him first. And that's where I made a mistake last year. I had a really hard time letting something go. And I thought that I would never be in that position again. I thought that after, after some of the things that I've released from my life, that it would just be super easy for me to just let go of everything, and it really wasn't. And I had a moment of weakness. I really felt like God, after all of these things, I really thought, and God's like, not yet. And I'm like, not yet, and really, I felt fine in the position, but I'm the type of person, let me just tell you, this sounds so complicated, but I'm the type of person who, I don't want it, but when I can't have it, I want it, if that makes any sense. And so, like, for example, this is just an example, but let's say I'm single. Let's say I'm single and God's like, you have to wait to be with somebody. And I'm like, I love being single, but because I know I have to wait, I want it even more. Even though I don't want it, I want it because I can't have it, if that makes any sense. So I'm like that type of person. And so, and then God will like do things, or he'll say things like, come down to your level. And he'll be like, okay, so once you get it, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just gonna, do all of these single things that I do already. And then, I can be, by myself doing this and doing that. And then he's like, so you're focused on what you can do. So you're thinking about what you're gonna do by yourself. So what are you going to do with this person? And I'm like, well, I'm going to go probably to this event with this person. Like, I really have conversations with God for real. Like, I talk to God like God is like my best friend. And so he's like my father, like the father, everybody's father, but he's like my father, another father, I just, yeah. And so, so I'll be like, we'll go to like an event together or something. And then he's like, after the event, what are you going to do? I'm like, then we can just live our own lives. And he's like, so do you want to be with somebody or do you not? And I'm like, you know what, God, I could see why you told me to wait. Because that absolutely makes no sense for me to just have somebody to be with just so I can go to an event with them. But then afterwards I want to be single. Like I'm either going to want to be single or I'm going to want to be with somebody. So he's like, once you get that together, you come talk to me, because don't do no halfway prayers. Like, don't come to me talking about oh yeah, I want to be in a relationship, but hold on, wait, let me finish these couple things first. God's like, no, 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 no. You either gonna ask for it and receive it, or you gonna wait for the appointed time and receive it when the time is right. And I'm like, I like when you talk to me the way that I need to be talked to, because I wouldn't get it any other way. So God really will meet you where you are. And I need that in my life for real. And so sometimes I'll get beside myself for real, and I'll be like, I really want to be in a relationship right now. I mean, I don't say really, I say I want to be in a relationship right now. And God will say, okay, so are you ready to die to yourself? And I'm like, yeah, I can be completely selfish. Selfless. I'm helping other people now. He's like, you serving and helping other people and being in a relationship is two totally different things. When you leave from serving something, you go back home and you're only thinking about yourself. If you are serving and you are with someone, you are going to have to serve and then also die to yourself at home as well. Are you ready for that? And I was like, you really ask some good questions. Because most of the time people don't think about that. You don't really you think about a rom-com. You're thinking about, one moment, one picture that you see everybody on social media posting with their couple goals and all that stuff. I don't have any relationship goals. My relationship goal is my relationship with God. So as long as me and God is like this and we keep getting closer and tighter and tighter and tighter, that's my relationship goal. My like significant other relationship goal, whoever that's going to be, is going to be whatever God wants for me to have in my life. That's my relationship goal. Is for me to have the person that God graced for me. That's it. That's the only thing I got. I want it to look kingdom, smell kingdom, be kingdom, everything kingdom. All God, no, not all God all day, but you know what I mean. Like, God is like right at the center. And I really feel like that'll help me to not be selfish, because I'll be thinking of what God wants for me to be in this relationship instead of all the things that I want, or selfishly only thinking about myself. I'll be thinking about the other person as well. And so there's a lot of things that God taught me about myself that I didn't realize I needed to learn before I could be in a position where I would be ready. And one of those things was having conversations, and you just want to divulge things about yourself. And I learned it with friendships, with family members, everything. So I feel like it's a good skill to really be considerate of somebody else, like what it is that somebody else is going through, because we're all going through something. And so instead of me being like, oh, I went through this, I did this, and like trying to be the only person in the conversation, or like listening and then making it about me or something, like really intentionally be trying to understand what somebody else is going through, or what someone else, let somebody else have the floor, so they could talk about what it is that's going on with them and be sincere about it. Don't just be waiting for a moment to talk about the things that you're going through. Like, really be selfless in that moment. And the more selfless you can be, the more it will prepare you for whatever else is to come, you know. So that's where I was like a week ago or a couple days. I can't remember how long it's been, but it's been something like that. And and I've really been learning a lot about myself. Like when I thought that I had learned enough about myself, I was like, "Oh, okay, I learned all these things. I'm good." And then God was like, "Bam. Here's another thing that you didn't know about yourself." And I'm like, I'm glad I'm learning it now. You know, because I don't want to learn it later. And then the other person has to suffer because I didn't get my stuff together, you know. And hopefully the other person is working on themselves as well. And they are going through therapy. They're mending like broken relationships so they can be a better person for a relationship. Because a lot of the things from like, and I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, so do not take my word as bond. I'm just saying that what I noticed for myself is a lot of the things like from my childhood that I didn't work on before I started my healing journey. I was like really, those things were really shaping me and making me like do weird things that, you know, a healthy person doesn't do. And it was really making me like look at people differently. It was really making me be distrusting of anyone. It was really making me put up like this wall, this barrier that I didn't even realize was there. And even when I tried to let other people in, when I was working on myself, when I was healing, it was still like that thing from the past still wasn't healed. And it was still like, it was still haunting me, you know? And so I really had to be intentional about letting, like, when I meet people, when I get to know people, I really have to intentionally in my head say, don't put up a wall right now. Like, do not put up a wall. And I'm not saying you shouldn't guard your heart at all costs. Absolutely guard your heart at all costs. I just mean that nobody can get to know you if you already have a wall up and you already have them out the door. Like, that's where I was in my head. And so I had to really get to a position where I was like, okay, you know, this person just has to be who they are. Either they're about it or they're not, you know, either they're about that life or they're not in my life, you know? And so they have to be the ones that really show who they are, and they have to have an opportunity to show that. I can't just write people off on day one, you know, just like, I mean, unless we're unequally yoked, like that's the only time I'm going to do that, you know, or like real core values that really, really matter to me are not there, then, you know, I can't just be writing people off just because I want to be alone. You know, I gotta really be intentional about not putting up a wall against myself and other people, because, you know, I always did that since I was younger because I wanted to try to protect myself because I felt like the person who should have protected me didn't, you know. And so it was like a way for me to just like, I don't know, just really be able to feel like I had not the upper hand, but feel like I was in control. And so I just, after lots of work, I finally feel like I'm okay with like talking to people. I'm okay with not just being me in a corner, just like being quiet, not wanting to stand out. Now I'm okay standing out. Now I'm okay talking to people. Now I'm okay speaking life into people. Now I'm okay. I'm not feeling like everybody is out to get me, you know, and not every person is going to be an angel at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that now I'm not just looking at everybody as the enemy or everybody as like, I'm just waiting for them to disappoint me. Now I let people be who they are, you know, and then they either are or they're not. And so, I mean, it took a while because even now I still struggle sometimes letting people in, or like I'll have conversations with people and we'll be conversing and they'll say something and they'll ask me a question and I immediately feel myself like, like, and then I'm like, nope. I gotta like break all of those boards down. Like, listen, they're asking you a question. It's okay to answer a question. You don't have to get deep. You don't have to like be divulging your whole entire life, but like relax. Like I have to intentionally tell myself to relax and like stop trying to get ready to push people away because it's like a knee-jerk reaction because I've done it for so long. And so I have to really be intentional with that. And when you work on yourself, you know what your triggers are in the past. You know the things from your childhood when you're going to counseling, when you're healing, when you're doing the things that you need to do to try to become a better person. And for me, I feel like it makes me a better parent because I'm willing to do that. It also makes me a better family member, a better friend. And then in the future, it will make me a better, like, partner, you know? And so I really try to just stay focused on God and allow God to give me the gift of discernment so I can discern the person and the spirit. So I can determine ahead of time. Like, I don't want to just waste my entire life on somebody who doesn't deserve it. I want to make sure that I know what I'm getting myself into. That if there's a red flag, if there's something going on, then I'm trusting God to show me what it is so that I don't waste my whole life on somebody who shouldn't be there in the first place, you know? Or I'm at least checking with God before I go on a date, or if I go on a date before I really get, feelings in or anything else, like just asking God if it's okay. And if God gives me the yes, then I continue. If he doesn't give me anything, then I take that as a no, or I wait and I just don't do anything else. Because unless it's a yes, it's really a no, or it's a not right now. And if I'm not ready, I don't want to hurt the other person unintentionally like I've done in the past, thinking that I was ready. And the whole time I just I wasn't there yet. I couldn't get there. Like, I wanted to make myself, like, I met this one person who was like, so, man, you don't even understand. And I just, even though that was like what I would have thought that I wanted or whatever, like, you have this idea of things, I just couldn't be ready. I couldn't make myself be healed. I couldn't make myself be in a position where I would be ready for anything like that. I couldn't make myself, even if, no matter how I felt, no matter how attracted I was to this person, nothing. There was nothing that can make me mentally, physically, and emotionally just be like, okay, I'm ready. It's really something that time had to shape me into. Is something that God had to, like, really put me in different situations and different circumstances so that I can learn things about myself, so I can prepare. And I'm so happy that God didn't allow anything to work out this far, because I really wasn't ready. And I definitely don't want to just be going around hurting people, because when you are not healed, sometimes that broken part of you breaks someone else's heart. You could think you're ready and you start to, like, for me, I pull away, or you start to shut down, and it's really absolutely nothing to do with that person at all. It's just your own personal things that you have to deal with. And so I'm really glad that God had me waiting. I want to be ready, and whatever God has to do on the inside of me, I want him to do. And I know this is, like, so far off course for pushing forward, but listen, in life, it's going to be a lot of roadblocks. It's going to be a lot of things that get in your way. It's going to be a lot of people that you want to be with that don't want to be with you. It's going to be a lot of people or places or things that you want that God is saying is not right for you. It's going to be a lot of things that don't work out the way that you intend for them to. But I can tell you this, even though nothing in my life has happened the way that I had imagined, nothing in my life happened the way that I would have wanted it to, but it was absolutely everything that I needed. I needed to learn the hard way. I really did. Because if someone would have told me not to be in that long 15-year relationship with that person, I would have said, psh, like, you're going to try to tell me, like, I really felt like I knew it all for real. And I would have just been with him just in spite of those people, just because I would have been like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about, but this is what I'm going to do. And so I know that sounds so wrong. I'm so glad I'm not like that anymore. And really, when it comes to jobs and everything, like, there's a lot of places that I thought I was going to be. There's a lot of things that I thought I was going to be doing, and I'm doing something totally different. And I wouldn't change it. I would be exactly where I am doing the things that I'm doing because I know God placed me there for a reason. And any place that I went that I wasn't supposed to be, God allowed to be used for the benefit of the kingdom. For me to be, the only thing that they see that is Christian that day. For me to be like a light. So even when everyone else is in a bad mood, I'm in a good mood and I'm trying to like bring joy to other people. I'm trying to let them know that everything is going to be okay, And even with where I'm living, everything went completely opposite of anything I would have imagined. Like when I was younger, what I would have imagined for my life is, I was going to graduate high school. I was going to go to college. I was going to do all of these different types of jobs. I never had like one specific job that I was going to do. I was going to be a fashion designer, a model, a interpreter. I was going to be, because I used to love learning sign language when I was like 7 or 8 years old, because we had learned about Helen Keller or something like that, and I really wanted to help people who couldn't hear, but they did sign language. And, not a lot of people in classes, like, of course, they have interpreters and things now. And I was thinking, oh, I could be an interpreter. And then I could help like kids like that who are like my age, or, people who are older who are going different places and maybe they can't hear it, but, they'll be able to see what the message is about, so I can kind of like bridge that gap. And I wanted to be, yes, a fashion designer, a model. I wanted to be an interpreter. I wanted to be an astronomer, which that was a fake goal because I just like looking at stars. I really like looking out into the world, like just seeing the beautiful things that God created. I've always loved doing that. But I definitely don't want to study stars. Like I want to look at them, but I don't want to learn anything about them at all. Like if I know what like the Big Dipper is and maybe another thing just to sound like I know what I'm talking about, that's the only thing I want to learn. I don't want to know anything else about that. I mean, if someone says something, I'm not going to just be like, oh, I don't want to know. I'll listen, but I don't want to just be intentionally trying to learn about all these different stars. Yeah, I don't want to do that. And so, and then, trying to think of what else it was. It was like 5 things, but I can't remember what the last one was. And I always wanted to do like all of these different things, and writing was never one of them. Writing was never one of them. I was never like, oh, I'm going to be a storyteller. I'm going to write a book. I was just like, I always loved writing, but I never thought about it in a career way. I just thought, oh yeah, I love writing. Most people would be like, I love writing. I'm going to be a writer. I was just like, I love writing just because it's something that I do that I'm good at. I didn't really think of it like, oh, I can make a career in this, even though like when I was in college, they would say, oh, we got this paper that you have to write and it's got to be 5 pages long, single spaced, or, no spacing. And I would, I would literally don't do this, but I would wait until the day before and write a 5-page paper in like 30 minutes, maybe. Like writing was never hard to me. It was always super easy for me to just write, you know, and I never thought of it as a gift. I just thought of it as something that I did for fun to pass time because I just love something about putting pen to paper, that just makes me feel like at ease. It just flows naturally. I don't know how to describe it, but like when I see it and I'm thinking it and I can see the words, like I can envision it in my mind while I'm reading. Like I love to read too. So while I'm like looking at the things that I'm writing, I'm envisioning in my mind how it looks, and I can kind of see the places that I am in this book. I can see like what I'm wearing, what I look like, how I'm talking, like how my hair is, like the smile kind of brightens the whole room, something like that. And I can kind of like envision it. And so when I'm describing it, it makes sense to me. And so like, it's so funny because you never think that your gift is your gift. You never think that like if God blesses you with something that you can do, you just feel like everybody can do it. We really do. We never give ourselves enough credit for the things that we're good at. We make it seem like it's an everybody thing, but it's not. We all have things that we are really great at, and we just we downplay ourselves because we feel like if we are giving ourselves credit, then we're going to seem egotistical. I promise you, you're not egotistical for believing in yourself. That is the thing that you should be doing. You should be believing that you can do anything that you put your mind to, because the only thing stopping you is you. You're the one who's telling yourself it's no big deal. You're the one that's telling yourself that, oh, lots of people can do this. You're the one that's telling yourself that, oh, I do this, but this is just something for fun. It could be for fun and you could be making money doing it. Like, you don't understand that God placed that gift in your hands because he wanted you to utilize it. God allowed me to use my gift. I have a book right here. That's the only reason I'm doing it. God allowed me to use my gift to write this book, learn from my missteps. If I didn't rededicate my life to God, if I really didn't take the time and just focus on what it was that God was telling me to do and just be obedient, this book would have never happened. I literally filled up 2 journals and 3 notebooks. You know how long notebooks are. I literally filled those up because I love to write so much. And I was writing about the things that I was going through. I was writing about healing. I was writing about my journey. I was writing about my life. And I took this course with TG, and it was called Authorpreneur or something like that. And it was about writing skills and like how you're thinking of ideas and what chapters look like and things like that. And when I took that course, God was like, you need to write a book. But it didn't start there. God told me to write as I was going through my healing journey. And I wrote down all these ideas, all these things that helped me, all the things that I've learned in my life. Because TG always says, turn your lesson into a blessing. And so I really just like started writing everything. And I didn't know why God was telling me to write all of these things down. I was like, okay, I love writing and it's making me feel like it's relieving stress. It's making me feel empowered. It's like when I write, I don't know how to describe it, but it just releases something inside of me. Like everything inside of me that I'm holding on to is released into this paper, if that makes any sense. And it's like any resentment, any anger, any joy that I could feel it releasing into the paper. Like, okay, this is how I want the reader to feel. I want them to feel the emotions that I feel going through this so they can see how my journey led me or whatever. I don't know. But God told me to write. Then I took that course with TG and this book came out of it. And when God told me to write a book, this is going to sound real disobedient, but I kind of did a little chuckle like, you want me to read a book? You want me to write a book? Really, God? Like, what am I going to write about? And God's like, you've been writing this whole time. And I'm like, I've been writing this whole time. What is he talking about? Like, what is God talking about? And then he's like, and I just feel myself look down and it's my notebook there with all of these notes and all of these things that I've been writing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I go and look at it and it's in chronological order. The only thing I had to do was like add things here and there that were like conclusions or whatever. Or like to close out the chapter and then the conclusion. That was the only thing I had to do. And it's so funny because I just never doubt God. God might be telling you to do these things that seem frivolous. You think it's like no depth to it. You think that he just has you standing in line at this place for no reason. He just has you talking to this person for no reason. He has you serving in this place for no reason. And then come to find out the person that you're serving with in the place is the person who opens the door to your whole career. The next thing you know, the person that you're talking to ends up being a lifelong friend who is part of your A team. And your A team is your action team. For people that don't know, it's on one of my old videos. I call it an A team because those are the people who are supportive, they're real, and they are there for you. Okay, supportive is there for you. I had 3 things, but I can't remember what the third thing was. Supportive, I mean like they support your ideas. They're not the person that's just shooting you down. They're really there for you. They are speaking life into you. They're honest with you. They're not the type of person who's just going to be like, "Oh yeah, this is a great idea." They're like, "No, this is not a good idea. I'm there with you. This is the way it should be." And it's constructive criticism. It's not just hating, They're the type of people who are real with you and they're supportive. And I feel like I need people like that in my life. I don't want just yes people around me. I want people who's going to be real with me. And I need people who understand that, you know, like they're not just going to shoot down my dreams or the things that I want to do in life. They're really supportive. And so it's so crazy. Even when I hold this book, sometimes I'll be like, you know, God has come through for me in so many ways. He really has. He's performed so many miracles in my life. Like, for those of you that don't know my story, definitely purchase the book, shameless plug. Learn from My Missteps by Trinisha Cottrell. It's on Amazon, Book Baby, Barnes and Noble. It's on a lot of different things. Like, you could probably search it and it'll probably come up everywhere. Target, Walmart, everywhere. And so every time I doubt, you know, like I just don't see how things are going to work out. I just don't know how I'm going to be able to do something, or I'm doing something that seems frivolous. Sometimes, like, I'll feel in my spirit to pick up this book, or, you know, someone will ask me about the book and I'm like, why is it that we get this spiritual amnesia? Like, I don't already know that God's going to come through. Like, I don't already know that God is who he says he is. Like, God is doing all of this for a reason. It's not just like he just has you walking around in circles for no reason. He has you walking around in circles because this is where you're picking up your second win. This is where you will be able to pick up your victory. This is where all of those things that you've learned in the past, all of the things that you've been through will be for a reason. It will be for your testimony. It will help you build strength in areas that you were weak in the past. You don't even realize you're building muscle the more that you're walking. And then the next thing you know, you got the calves that's like plat plat. You know, I don't know why I said plat plat, but okay, whatever sound that makes. And you just don't even realize how blessed you are. You don't even realize how God really came through for you. You don't even realize that even though you don't feel like you have the strength, God is your strength when you're weak. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing through because you can make it. I know it may feel like nothing's going right. I know it may feel like you want to give up. I know it may feel like everything that you thought was going to happen didn't happen. But for me, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm so happy that I'm not with that person that I was with. And it's no like shade to that person. It's that we're not grace for each other. And the more I like kept trying to hold on and pretend like it was going to be something that it wasn't, I did all of that. And I probably missed out on the person, one of the people that God probably was trying to place in my life to be a blessing in my life that we could have actually been grace for. That he probably missed out on the person who he was actually grace for. And so it doesn't just affect you when you make selfish decisions, when you only think about what you want and not what you actually need or what God actually wants for you in your life. Because he's giving you the things that you need. And every time I think I know, God's like, let me switch this up. And then when he switches it up, I'm like, okay, I don't understand that. And then like a year later or a month later or a week later, it's like, oh, now I see why God had me do that. Now I see why God didn't want me with that person. Now I see why God, you know, fill in the blank. And sometimes I don't have an answer. Sometimes you will get to the point where God will do something in your life and you will never understand why he did that thing. And it may drive you crazy sometimes. You might be like, I don't understand why this didn't, just doesn't make any sense why this didn't. And you just have to trust God. That's like one of the hardest things of being a Christian is trusting God in a moment when you don't know, one, how it's going to happen. Like for me, I know and I believe that God is going to work everything out for my good. My biggest thing that I'm trying to work on is not knowing how it's going to happen. Like I will be sitting there and I have faith that it's going to happen, but I'm like, like I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to like in my head think of like all these different scenarios of how this thing will work out. And the whole time, every time I'm wrong and it works out totally different. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, but like sitting and waiting for it to happen is like, I'm like, okay, God, I know you're going to do it. I'm just like, it's like, I always have to throw in one of these references and people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. But it's like in a horror movie when like the person is gone like gone, and you're like, okay, they're gone. It's done. Then they at the end jump out for one last scare. It's like that. Like that's that's how these blessings are. Like you really think, okay, this is how it's gonna happen. This is the end of it. And then God's like, I'm not done yet. This is only the beginning. You were ready to say this is the end. You were ready to just lay down. You were just willing to say, okay, well, I've done this one thing when I got so much more to offer you. I don't want to ever be the type of Christian who just wants to accept the bare minimum. I want to be the type of Christian who gets everything that God has appointed for me because He's the God of abundance for a reason. He's not the God of lack. Lack is all the adversary. So if there's something that God wants to do in my life, I'm content exactly where I am, but I absolutely want to receive everything that God has for me. I don't want to be at lack of nothing. Like, if God's like, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that, I'm not going to be the type of Christian that's going to say, oh no, God, oh no, don't give me that thing. I'm going to be like, thank you. Graciously. I'm going to be like, thank you, God. Because I'm willing to accept whatever it is that God feels like He wants to bless me with. Because if God is if He's willing to bless me with it, that means that He thinks that I need it in my life. And I want everything God has to offer. I don't want to ever be I don't want to ever be like that person that you try to compliment that's like, oh, this, it only costs $3. Or they'll be like, oh, this hair, I can't stand my hair. Like, you know, that person you try to give a compliment to, and they always got something negative to say about themselves. And then it makes you cringe because you're like, but they look so beautiful. Like, why are they trying to make it seem like they aren't who they say who they are? Like, that's how we are with our blessings. God tries to compliment us and give us things that He thinks that we should have in our life. And we're like, but really, my hair is a mess today. And God's like, I didn't ask you about your hair. I'm giving you a compliment. I'm giving you a blessing. Receive it graciously. Don't give me all that extra stuff. That's how we really have to be. And so when life gets hard, you just have to keep pushing and know that God is who He said He is.